Come on, Jagex. Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help and welcome back to another video today. So today we got the God Alignment Prayers consultation and direction. I am extremely excited about this. Later this year, we'll bring back one of the most iconic RuneScape quests ever, while Guthix sleeps. We'll be adding plenty of old school flair and flavor while keeping all the best bits. Today we want to start the conversation around one of the biggest new additions, God Alignment Prayers. Inspired by Ninja Pig's popular suggestion, these new prayers sets will bestow special effects themed around their aligned deity. The first set, the Rites of Balance, will be a reward for completion of the old school version of While Guthix Sleeps, and somewhat unsurprisingly, they're Guthix themed. We've already done some snooping and determined that this is something that you're excited about. If the 18,000 of you who took part in this survey weren't enough of a green flag, thank you to everyone who sent in their feedback. We've also learned a great deal from Ruinous Powers, from the Ruinous Powers we pitched with Desert Treasure 2, and we're confident that these learnings will make the Rites of Balance one of the most exciting shakeups we've ever seen. Today's news posts will give you some greater context for God Alignment Prayers. For the first time, you'll see how we plan to create new prayers for every god in Gielinor, or at least the ones on our list, how players might gain access to them, and how you can shape the direction these prayers go on. One thing we won't discuss are specific numbers. Today is about making sure we're on the right track, not about getting into the nitty-gritty details, but don't worry, once we've found the right direction for these powerful new effects, we'll spill all the deets. Let's get started. Okay, so lore and thematics. One of the most important things for us is to establish how the God Alignment Prayers will feel during gameplay. The gods of old school RuneScape are unique, and we want each set of prayers to feel thematically aligned to their different values. Now, the gods of Gielinor are an elusive bunch in old school RuneScape, so in case you're unfamiliar, we're going to go through a few of them now, beginning with the three gods at the top of our list. We believe that these first three gods are perfect candidates for our first three sets of God Alignment Prayers, as suitably impressive requirements to unlock them are already in game. You'll see what their alignments look like later in the blog, but for now, here's a light introduction. Guthix. The Rites of Balance will be the first God Alignment Prayers you get your hands on, so it's only fair that we talk about Guthix first. Guthix is a peaceful god of balance and nature. He's responsible for bringing all your favorite creatures to Gielinor, which must have been an exhausting task because he took a long nap afterwards. When he awoke, it was the horrors of the God Wars. To maintain the balance, Guthix banished all of the gods from Gielinor, including himself. A humble god, Guthix doesn't desire worship, but he will lend a hand to those who help preserve the delicate balance of nature. Zeros. This ancient god is associated with fate and control Gielinor he did, until his vast empire suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the other gods. Although Zeros is long forgotten, his shadowy machinations are still ticking away behind the scenes. Similarly, his prayers will allow you to strike when your enemies least expect it. We'd like to add Zeros God Alignment Prayers, the Ruinous Powers, as a retroactive reward from Desert Treasure 2. It looks like they're still trying to push this. Seren, the crystalline goddess of the elves. Seren stands for peace, growth, and light. Seren sought to nurture her people while promoting harmony and cooperation among her worshippers. At the end of the God Wars, Seren shattered herself into many different fragments so that she might remain close to her followers. To this day, the elves' crystal singing rituals allow them to draw on Seren's power and enhance their own abilities. Seren's God Alignment Prayers, the how do you say that? Corvents of Light will be added as a retroactive reward from the Song of the Elves. The next 4 gods on our list will still get their own god alignment prayers, but they'll be added later. Becoming aligned with the god and gaining access to their divine favor is a big deal, so we feel that all the god alignment should have suitable, impressive requirements, much like the 3 Grandmaster quests listed above. I like that they're not going to put them all out at once and kind of put them out maybe in batches to kind of get them right. Saradomin. Gilinor's most widely worshipped god is Saradomin, who stands for order, wisdom, and the forces of good. Although Saradomin was one of the major combatants in the God Wars, his techniques promote defense and protection, a strong incentive for those looking to align with his ideals. Zamorak, the mortal enemy of Saradomin. Zamorak ascended to godhood by overthrowing Saros, an event which led to the devastation of God Wars. Consequently, he's viewed as an evil god by citizens of Gilinor, but in truth, his teachings are about embracing chaos. Armadil was the patron god of the Amvitices. I've never been able to pronounce that. He teaches the values of law and justice, and his followers are deadly warriors who utilize precision and movement to strike against their enemies. Bandos, Big High War God, Big High War God. Bandos followers are goblins, orcs, trolls, and everyone who values strength in battle. As the god of war, he was one of the major players in the God Wars, and his followers were known throughout Gilinor for their reckless yet mighty fighting style. Aligning the design. As you can see, we've closely studied the key traits of each of the gods to understand what their alignments might look like. Now let's see the results of the process with our first 3 god alignments, Guthix, Zeros, and Saren. It felt only fitting to team up with the one and only Ninja Pig to give you a breakdown of these prayers. Before we begin, another reminder, we're not giving you specific numbers today. Our focus for now is on the feel of the prayers, not the details. Interesting. I really like how they're partnering with some random player. This might not be a random player, but whoever Ninja Pig is, I believe he made like a Reddit post or something about that, and they're kind of like taking that and going with it, which I love, man. Yeah, this is a community-driven game after all. Alright, so the Rites of Balance is the god alignment that we will get for while Guthix sleeps, and the very first one is a standard prayer called the Strike Balance. Attacks have an X% chance to grant the player adaption. Adaption is a new status that provides bonus to accuracy, minimum hit, and prayer penetration to other combat styles for 1 attack. Okay, so neutrality is a standard prayer. The player's maximum hit is decreased by X%, while their minimum hit is increased by Y%. So I'm assuming it's gonna be like basically your maximum hit will be decreased, but your minimum hit will be increased. So you'll hit more of the time, I'm assuming. I don't know how exactly this is gonna work. We've got Nature's Redemption, which is an overhead prayer. This heals the player by 40% of their hit points level if they fall below 10% of their maximum hit points, draining their prayer points fully. So it's like a redemption in a way, but I guess a better one. And then we've got the Natural Selection, which is another overhead prayer. Damage above X% of your maximum hit points, heals nearby allies by Y% of damage taken. Consumes prayer points per player healed. So I can see this one being used in like raids maybe, or some type of team boss. Interesting, but not like overpowered, right? Next, we've got the Ruinous Powers god alignment from the Desert Treasure 2. Now, I'm going to butcher all of these names, but we've got the Umbra's Vow, Vow, Glacis Vow, and Kuro's Vow. I don't know how to pronounce these, but the first one, anyways, is a standard prayer. Attacks drain your opponent's defense level by X% of the damage dealt up to Y% of their maximum defense. The next one is another standard prayer. Upon being poisoned, the player gains poison severity as an accuracy bonus for the next attacks with X ticks. Very interesting. These are like niche scenarios though, right? And then the Glacis Vow, standard prayer, gains X% defense bonus whilst the user is standing still. I'm trying to think of where this would be very useful. Like whenever you're standing still, killing something, you gain X defense bonus. It could be useful in some scenarios for sure, but a lot of the higher end bosses you move a lot of the time, but I'm sure it will have its very niche scenarios that will make it amazing. And the last one here is a standard prayer. After killing a target, convert X prayer points into hit points. That one's very, very interesting. I can see that one being very useful. Say you go to a boss and bring a lot more prayer than health, you're running low type thing. This one could be very cool. Next one, we've got the god alignments for the Song of the Elves. The first one being Slumber, which is a standard prayer. Negative effect timers such as bleed, poison, burn, disease, and venom are frozen while this prayer is active. That one is insane. Imagine for something like Zulrah. It depends on obviously how much prayer it's going to use, but in certain scenarios, man, like until you can get a potion to drink or something, this one could be amazing. The Crystalline Redemption, it's an overhead prayer, and it heals the player by 25% of their base prayer level if they fall below 20% of their maximum hit points, draining their prayer points fully. So this is redemption with 20%. Instead of, I think it's 10, is it 10 or 15, something like that? So basically you can get healed if you are higher. So if you want to kind of safe in some areas, this could be also used in PvP, I guess, or even some boss scenarios where you go to low HP and you want to make sure you don't die type thing. We've got Harmonize, attack, apply vulnerability for 1 tick. Let's see, is a new status that increases damage taken by X. This one's a little confusing. Attacks apply for 1 tick. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but that one doesn't really make any sense to me. Basically, yeah, I'm gonna have to go over that one again. But anyways, the next one is Guiding Strikes. Attacking increases nearby allies' attack bonus by X% of your chosen style's attack bonus for Y. Y is linked to your weapon's attack speed. These are all like very different type of prayers that I wouldn't have really expected them to come into the game, and they're gonna have either very niche scenarios or like the Harmonized one, for example. Like, I feel like that Harmonized one won't be used for a lot of like players that play casually, right? That might be very niche. I don't know how I feel about these ones, but the first two, Slumber and Crystallized Redemption, sound insane. Okay, so they go over more of it in some more detail if you guys want to check out the blog post so that you can actually kind of see what these prayers do. But I'm honestly like very excited for different types of prayers to come into the game, no matter how they will be. And I really like the way that they're going to do these god alignment prayers, where basically you can still use your standard like prayer book, right? It's not going to completely kind of change the prayers that you use, right? You're just going to be basically, I think this is how it's going to work. You're going to add the 3 that you're aligned with to your prayer book, and then you can use those 3. I'm not sure if you can mix and match them or whatever it is, but you know, there's some of them that are going to be very useful, and just as like an add-on to base prayers and stuff like that, I think it's great. And I would love to see more stuff like this being added to the game, especially with something like prayer, something that's so useful. We definitely need an update for it. Okay, so then there's obviously a surveys that will kind of like help us understand, so give us more insight of the player you are. I play an Ironman. I'm maxed Ironman, of course. What type of content do you mainly participate in? I would say PVM, skilling, minigames, quest, a little bit of social, clue scrolls, completionist. What do you usually play? Desktop for sure. How did you learn about this information proposed update? I would probably say the Winter Summit mostly. And then listening and watching to content creators and stuff like that. So we'll go to the next question here, and this is going to kind of go over different god alignments. So how accurately do you feel each thematic matches its god? I'm actually going to say very accurate. I think they've done like a very good job with all of these, like, you know, how they're saying Bandos is super strong, and, you know, Saren like split up and did a bunch of, like, they did a really good job at explaining all of this. How excited does each god thematic make you feel? Okay, this is going to be something that I'm going to have to take a second. These are the answers that I kind of came up with. Excited and very excited for the other gods. I'm not going to be typing anything. I don't really know exactly. There was that one like prayer that I really didn't like understand really, but I'm sure like somebody in the comments will help me figure it out. So the next thing they're asking is, which prayers do you think should be unlocked with the completion of the quest? I feel like they all should, no? Like most of the content, like something like a prayer, or like I feel like should be unlocked with the quest, right? How do you think those prayers should be unlocked? I would say quests, maybe a little bit of PVM, like raids or something like that. It would be cool to see like regular mobs too, like lizardmen and stuff like that, but definitely not skilling or mini games. It would either be quests or PVM for sure. Okay, this is that one prayer, the neutrality, like how should we approach the X and Y split? So should it be like 30-70, 40-60, or 30-80, 40-70? So this is like the split between the max hit and the lowest hit. This is something like kind of controversial in a way. Like I'm gonna go with the best, right? Like I feel like that would make the most sense. How do you feel about the design of each prayer from the Rites of Balance? I'm honestly, these ones I feel like were amazing, so I'm gonna go like full positive with all of those ones. Are you happy with the idea of receiving the base unlocks from like Desert Treasure 2? Yeah, of course I am. Which of the prayers of the ruinous powers do you feel should be unlocked with? I feel like, you know, from the quest, you should just get them from the get-go. They're basically all the same questions again. If you think they should be unlocked with quest or bossing or whatever it might be. And it looks like the servers are down right now. They're doing some update or whatever it might be. But I thought it was a perfect time to check over this news post and record my thoughts on it. But yeah, I'm very obviously excited for the new prayers to come into the game. Some of them I kind of maybe don't understand fully. It'd be better to see an example of them maybe. You can't get like the full potential of it with just seeing a couple of words. And, you know, it would be cool to see the numbers, but I understand why they don't want to show us the numbers, because that would maybe skew some people to vote immediately no or whatever. Oh, this is too overpowered, this is too underpowered, whatever it might be, right? And when they first tried to release the prayers into the game, I was totally for them, and I thought it would be a great addition to the game. But I didn't like the idea of them completely making the spell book be kind of, or not the spell book, the prayer book kind of, you know, you're either on the standard or the ancient, I think it was called, right? I like the fact that we can kind of combine them both together and have a couple from here, a couple from there, and our regular prayers still, right? And you can kind of combine them together to make the best effects and figure out some new gameplay mechanics that might never been done before, really. So I'm all for this, right? I've always wanted new prayers into the game. I never knew how I exactly felt about something like Soul Split or Turmoil being added into the game, but I definitely knew it was about time for us to get some brand new prayers. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.